All right, here we are. An official, unofficial Guild Artisan episode. I'm calling it official, unofficial because technically I have not actually started streaming on a regular basis with this show. Guild Artisan, as it says right here. I'm working out the schedule, trying to figure out what days. Right now, we're leaning towards Thursdays and Sundays to be the regularly scheduled show times. There we go. A little bit of a delay on there, but that's all right. I'm going to try not to watch that. I'm just going to monitor the chat. Hey, Marquise. You just need to hear the sounds of my voice, don't you? Well, today I am working on I'm going to do some quick circus wagons. So I'm going to design, pardon my paper sound here a minute. I'll switch to the other view. And what I'm going to be doing is we're going to design a very simple wagon that's going to be done out of cardboard, hot glue, probably some toothpicks. And we're going to probably make 2 to 4 of these, depending. And I bought these a long time ago on eBay in a big bag full. So I've got a ton of these Lego wagon wheels. And these are the large ones, and I've got a few of the small ones. So we'll see what we can do to make some 28 millimeter miniature wagons, circus wagons. Let's see. That's weird. I should not have done that. All right. So, here we go. There we go. All right. So I was kind of sketching around earlier today, and I've got a general idea of what I want to do. I need a couple minis. This dwarf here, and behind me I have a box here with a few. Here we go. Here's a little bit larger figure. We'll go with the barbarian. So we're going to use the dwarf and the barbarian just to make sure with what I'm planning that they're actually going to fit inside here. So because these are actually going to be the, as you'll see as I start to sketch these are going to be the think like lion or tigers, or the fat lady from like Monster House, that kind of a thing, but a simplified version. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. This grid paper is custom that I printed on tabloid paper, and it's 4 squares to an inch and should be pretty darn close to exact. If it isn't exact, and it is 1/4 inch squares. So let's see, 2 inches is going to, we'll go 2.5. By the time he sees it in there, there we go. He's one of the bigger minis of the PC minis. And I think if we had somebody that needed to be that was bigger, then I don't know, like a Dragonborn or something, then they'd just be crammed in there. Howdy, Midget Frisky. See, this is what's weird about Twitch, is there's a chance that we already know each other, but I've got to learn usernames all over again. So, welcome. Let's see. So I'm going 2.5 inches tall. And then, so I'm going to go probably, I'm thinking, do we want to go double and just make it 5? I don't want them to be too big in terms of 28 millimeter scale. So that's what we're looking at here. Ah, it's Tamiko. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so this particular cart looks like it would fit. Well, it actually technically would fit probably close to 5. But at least 3, depending on how wide we go, you know, they could cram a few more in. I'm thinking we might want to go... All right, where's my wheels? So if we go something like this, that means it's probably not too far off. You'd be able to kind of see up into it. I don't know, this just feels too big. What do you think? What do you guys think about about the size of this? If I reduce it, I'm going to get my barbarian here. I'm thinking, you know, he might be a tight fit, but we can always lay him down. Of dropping it down to 2 inches. And then we'll go 4. So that would be the other potential size here. If you can see this. I'll try to do this here. So that would give us, the dwarf fits in there, the barbarian, it's a tight fit, and by the time I put the top and bottom, yeah, that seems almost too small. I mean, these are supposed to be, like, you're supposed to have like a tiger in here, or maybe an owl bear, or something like that. So, you know what, I'm going to stick with this, no eraser. It's because we don't make mistakes. We make happy little accidents. You know what? We'll do one of these. No, it's not the floor. This is going to be the side. So, well, let's figure out width real quick, because I don't want it to be super wide. So if we go, I'm thinking 2 inches. You know, these are going to be narrow. So this is either going to be this tall, which still isn't bad. I mean, you'd have the circus guy would sit up here and kind of drive the wagon. And then, yeah, I'm thinking this 2x4, and then we'll go with this for the width. And what I'm going to be doing is the construction ultimately is going to be pretty straightforward. I've decided some of these, I was looking them up online. In future streams, I'll have some of my reference picks up on, I keep bumping this camera. It's over my head here. I'm going to go back to a little bit more overhead view. So in future streams, I'll try to have some of my reference picks up on the screen, but a lot of times they only have bars on one side, and I've decided that I'm going to do bars on both sides. Just looking for my cheater template. Ooh, just knocked a bunch of tools down on the floor. I don't know where my cheater template went. So, we'll not be cheating. That's bizarre. That's usually right in that drawer. Okay, no big deal. So here's what we're going to do. Is we are looking at so I'm going to do, because I want this to still have some solidness. So I'm going to freehand this. I'm not really making the template. This is just kind of the design, I guess. This is what I was going to use my cheater for these little half circles. Yeah, exactly. Crowd has to be able to see from both sides while you're rolling into town. But yeah, some of these in the reference pics I saw only had one side, for whatever reason. So now I know I'm going to be going here at 1/4 inch for the bars. So what I've got to see is one of the other pieces I'll be using is toothpicks. Just making sure. Oh, that's pretty much perfect. Probably just a little dollop of hot glue on both sides, and they'll fit right down in there. All right, so here's the plan. Now this is where it's going to get a little tricky. So I'm going to cut two of these. I got to cut a base and a top. And what I'm wanting to do is I thought about making the top removable, but I want it to be kind of playable and interchangeable. I think the intent for this game, I'm a player, not the DM, so I don't fully know what these are going to be used for, but I'm supposing that the players are going to end up inside here. So if we should imagine this is the back, I'm going to cut this actually after I put the sides and top and all that on, so we know the exact size. And I'm going to have a toothpick or probably like a skewer run through this. And what I'll do is I'll fit this in place, and then I'll pop through. I'll put some glue down in here, and then I'll run that through, and it's going to be actually hinged. And we'll even put some little pieces of wood, like you'd have like the little feet things for the ramp. So, yeah. No, I don't think the having the bars on only one side is going to affect stability or anything like that. Yeah, some terrain pieces can be fragile. I think it just depends on what you make the stuff out of. I've got a go-kart that's kind of fragile. Not a go-kart, a mine cart. I was trying to find this other little cart. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, we'll see. Like I said, this is kind of an experiment, but I think this is going to end up being really stable. I may end up going with skewers through this just because of the thickness of this corrugation. So I'm not even going to delay anymore. I'm only going to do the stream for a couple hours. So I'm going to hope to... Let me actually plug my hot glue gun in. So that's heating up for... let's see. What do I need to unplug? Too many things plugged in over here. We'll need that later. The hot glue gun heating up. There you go. Sorry about that. All right, hot glue gun is heating up. So I'm going to go ahead and start measuring out. So we're going to do 2 by 4. Actually, before I forget, because I'll forget and I'll end up slicing into my desktop here. I'm going to use... I'm going to use my small nasty mat for tonight. So let's do this. Where'd it go? inches. Oh, no. 5 inches. Measure twice, cut once. Invariably, I screw up. I get going too fast when I start doing all my measurement stuff. Let's see. Missing part of my ruler. There we go. I like to use this little T-square job. What we're doing here for this type of craft is not so much, I mean, yeah, we want it to look good, but I'm not going for realism and accuracy. We're going for kind of that suggestion of, and I think the paint job is really going to help be a major factor in selling that final product. So we're gonna get this pretty close here. I'll do this. Okay, and let's see. We're going. See, I don't like that because I can't see with this lighting. Yeah, for me, so I did these the other night off stream. I really wish I'd done them on stream, and I'll do them in the future. I'll do some tutorials on these, but I turned these, made these little lion statues, and this is from a dollar store lion, and it looked like crap right up until I started to get that last coat on there, and it's the paint job, man. It's the paint job that really sells the piece. So we are cutting the two walls are going to be 2 inch. No, those are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2.5 inches. See, I almost screwed it up again. And then we go to 5. And let me switch my camera again. And then we go to, thanks for your appreciation of the statues. See if you subscribe or follow or whatever. I don't know if you can actually subscribe to my channel yet or not. I'm almost to affiliate. I need a couple more followers to get to the affiliate level. And then like 25 or 30 more followers to get towards the partner level. That looks crooked. It's 2.5. Not crooked. All right, so these are our sides. So the bottom and the top are going to be the same. Yeah, we'll go 2 inches. For each of those, I should be able to get, yep, it's just what I wanted. Is I like when I use pieces like this. These are cardboard salvaged from my office. I like to be able to get as much as I can out of it. And it looks like I could probably get one more. I might be able to get 2 full carts out of one of these. Yeah, this is for, because this is for a game this weekend, is why I'm working on this now. But I will be doing quite a bit of dice tower building while on the stream, which is probably going to officially start next week. All right, so you just check these measurements that they're 2, yep. So side, top. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that apart again. I like this good, sturdy, thick ruler as a straight edge. And with this thicker cardboard, I'm going to use more of a utility knife than my X-Acto blade. need to get some Sirenscape at some point so I can play some lovely background music or sounds while doing these. Now that was something I forgot to check. Fortunately, it's good. Because of the way I'm going to do these, I'm going to be doing these bars. I wanted to make sure that my corrugation is running up and down. And fortunately, I got lucky that I just went ahead and measured that way. That's happened to me before where I planned to do something like that. And then I get to cutting and I'm like, oh, snap. I cut in the wrong direction. I also have a tendency to get a little hasty and ruin some of my pieces in the way I cut them. But we're doing all right here. When we cut out this interior on these next two pieces, we'll probably go with the regular X-Acto because I want a little more precision. And what I'm going to end up doing is, in order to help hide the corrugations, I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue the sides like this. And that's going to let the corrugations kind of, on the bottom, you know, I can cover it with a skirt or a strip or something like that. So I'm going to do something super easy because, like I said, I don't have any major specifics for this stuff. I'm jibber jabbering. Let's see. I'm literally just going to use the width of this ruler. And I'm just going to use that on all four sides. Need to improve the lighting here a little bit better. I had a lamp that gave me lighting kind of over the shoulder. My lights on either side here put a lot of this area in shadow. So if you can see that, I just drew a nice little box on there. I'm going to guess that Chosen Rifter, before you say your name and I see it in the chat, that it's Rory. But I'm not positive there. I could be way off. Rory or Tyler. See, now I'm trying to see if I can gauge how long the delay is. Marquise was right at the top. Marquise is Strider DGAF. All right, so I need my circle. That might be a little too extreme. Oh, it's Jason Anderson. All right. Not bad. You know, there's only like 5,000 people in AbTab to choose from. So, yeah. All right, let's see what this looks like. I'm just cheating the wagon wheel for this little... This is more just like a decorative thing. I don't always go with these. You know, if I don't like the way it looks, I'm not going to use... Yeah, I don't like that. That's too big. I think we're just going to go for simplicity. So, where is my blade? You know, I've done this a couple times on the stream, on previous live streams, but I'm going to do a PSA. Sorry, I'm not looking for a sponsorship from TechniEdge. I bought these blades by mistake. Actually, my wife, I had them in my cart, but I hadn't purchased them yet. They were really cheap for 100 blades because they're crap. The tips break so fast on these things. It's worth it to spend the extra money to get the X-Acto brand blades because you can get a lot more cutting out of them. Because I'm going to do other things with these in terms of decorative stuff on the outside with paint and other greebles, as we say in the modeling and crafting business. Yeah, see, I think the tip just broke. Anyway, I'm going to just go straight through with these. Nope, I guess the tip didn't break. One thing to keep in mind, this is true with foam, it's true with cardboard. You do not need to force your blade through to make your cut in one go. Don't be afraid to make 2 or 3 cuts. Particularly with foam, it helps you to get straighter cuts without ripping through it. And you'll note that I am not using a straight edge here, but I'm using my finger to kind of as a guide along the edge here. Oh yeah, there's going to be some blade breaking. The breaking of the blades. Dun, 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 dun. See, my hope is that we'll get the actual cart assembled here in the next probably the next hour or so. And just set that aside in case we need to use it. Now, see, that's weird. I don't like that. You know, maybe it's just the lines throwing it off. It's got a slightly... Oh, see, why didn't somebody tell me I didn't put my camera back? Y'all just staring at my face. You just like looking at my beard. All right. That's got a slight bit of a curve to it, but no biggie. That's what happens when you go freehand. It's been a long time since I've cut myself. A couple years ago, I was still relatively new in crafting. I had a minor outpatient surgery and probably shouldn't have been wielding a crafting knife because I was still a little bit under the effects of the anesthesia. And my son asked me to, he was modifying some Lego pieces and asked me to cut one of those little studs off of a tiny little piece. And my dumbass grabbed the little piece, grabbed the knife, and was going like this. And when I suddenly realized I shouldn't be cutting this way, it slipped through, and I actually passed all the way through my thumb. Took a nice little slice out of it. Fortunately, the knife was dull. I hadn't quite changed it. I was getting ready to change it, but I hadn't changed it yet. So it didn't cut as deep as it could have. But I was bleeding pretty good. Probably should have gone and gotten a stitch or two, but... No, you'll probably see some hot glue burns here occasionally. All right, so believe it or not, I'm actually ready to glue these together. Because what I'd like to do is get all 4 of these together, then start putting in our. I definitely think I'm going to go with the skewers. These toothpicks, while nice. Well, tell you what. barbecue skewers, foot long, can be bought at Walmart for, I think, $1 or $2 for 100. Or maybe there's like 50 in there, I don't remember. Obviously much thicker than toothpicks, and you can get quite a few more bars out of it. And they fit just a little snugger in the corrugation, but they might be just a little too aggressive. Oh, my chat went blank. Let me bring that back up. Nope, not talking to you, Siri. Just to unlock. So the glue has a chance to set. What's the word? Cure. Mappernomicon. Looks better. Are you saying the barbecue skewers look better? No, I actually thought about it, Tamiko. I actually considered using Granny Grate, some different cardboard, and creating like a sandwich, and I was going to cut out some pieces of it. But I think what we're going to do is this. So we'll come back to that in a moment. We're going to need this tool. All right, hot glue gun should be sufficiently heated. I almost need to set up another cam so you guys can see all my, all my tools and stuff. Gonna need that glue stick. And got my hot glue gun and my makeshift hot glue gun stand. You know what? I'm wearing headphones and I really don't need them because nobody's talking to me. So I don't need to hear anybody. So I'm going to put those up there so that wire's out of the way. Okay. Let me get back here to... Okay. So I decided I was going to do it this way. Okay. It's this simple. We'll go like this. So... make sure that's not hot. That's deliberate. Man, I just love the smell of hot glue. To me, that is the smell of hot glue and paint. It's just the smell of creativity to me. And then I'll do... you know what, I think I might do on the inside here. Well, the nice thing is you can, with hot glue boogers or wisps, is you can hit them with a heat gun and they shrivel right up. So I just put some glue on the seam there, and sometimes, this is probably isn't necessary because I'm making this cube, but sometimes I'll take my little square here and my triangle and just make sure it squares up. It doesn't take long for the hot glue to cure. Because of the way we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and glue the other piece next. Oops. That. I like these longer glue sticks. Don't have to change them as much. So I should do this on camera. Don't be afraid to ask me any questions about my process. If you see me doing something weird, shoot me suggestions or whatever. I'm trying to watch the chat. Maybe put question in all caps or something to get my attention if you have a question. And of course, if you don't follow me on Twitter already, you can follow me on Twitter at MTD_Jake. And of course, there's the Facebook.com/mini terrain domain. And of course, right here on Twitter, if you haven't already followed our Twitter, on Twitch, if you haven't already followed the mini terrain domain, give us a follow as we're working towards gaining affiliate and partner status. Not so much looking to profit from what I'm doing, so much as once I get partnership and can actually monetize, the little bit of ads or subscriptions or donations or whatever, it allows me to do cool things like I saw today. I'm going to do this anyway. At Walmart, there is a cheap T-Rex set. It's actually designed for use with like the 3.5-inch action figures. But I'm going to get this T-Rex. It's got, you push a button on the side and it roars and its eyes light up. I'm going to get it and I'm going to completely repaint it and use it for my D&D stuff. And I'm going to do that right here on the stream. And yes, it looks like somebody, normally I would run a window, but my system is so intensive. I thought, well, I like the smoothness that I get from the finger. I don't know why I do it. It's just what I do. I thought somebody said something. Oh, hit the heart right in the corner. What? I must be missing that reference. I thought somebody noticed behind me. I'll see. You can just see the edge of, I didn't do this on stream at all, but you can just see the edge of the tent with removable top that this is all being used for. Once the game is done, as I said, I'm not the DM, then I will share pictures and I'm thinking about taking this whole tent set and showing people how to make it on stream. All right. So now we got to put the other side on. So we're going to hit some glue here. So this is where I add about 30 to 40% to my crafting time on stream as I start reading all the comments and get to not paying attention to the actual craft. And it just takes a little longer. That's fine. It's a hobby. I find it very relaxing. If I'm feeling particularly anxious or depressed, I've been having a little bit of anxiety lately, just general. Oh, thanks. Somebody said switch your camera. Good call. Good looking out. Good looking out, Tamiko. Yeah, I got a little bit of anxiety this week, so this is my catharsis. It's helping out. So, all right, look at that. Already, we've got ourselves a nice little boxy piece that seems to be more or less square. Now, yes, there's a little bit of fidgetiness here, but guess what? We're going to solidify that right up. Trying to decide if I want to put a piece like this for the end, because the one end is actually going to be tucked inside, which means I have to put a frame around here. So I think I'm going to do both of them that way, just for continuity. So because of the way I did this, that's why I wanted to do these on the outside. That gives us the 2 inches, and then instead of 2.5, we got 2 1/4. So I need 2 more pieces to cut. Let's see. I want those. See, I actually want those to go the other way because I want to use the groove for that back seat. I'm going to go over here to this side for factory edge. So 2 inches. Sometimes I'll use the grid down here as well. So I got 2 inches and 2 inches. And then we'll do this. 2, 4. All right. Hopefully these pencil lines are showing up pretty good because I like using my pencils. These are Murado Black Warriors. I get them on Amazon. It's just a standard number 2 pencil, but I just really like them. 2 1/4. So, thanks you guys that are in the chat right now for popping in and watching an old man make believe real with miniature stuffs. Old man. I'm not really old, I guess. You're as old as you feel, although I feel kind of old today. See, my knife slipped a little bit. I'm going to pay for that. I think I shaved about a 1/16 of an inch off. Might be okay. I don't know why I went with this knife. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting. It's actually almost a little big. So if I glue that in place, let's see if I can do this way since I already just fitted it. This doesn't always work out this way. It just happens to. I need a longer, narrower glue gun or smaller. But that should be sufficient. Now this time I am going to use this just to kind of grab at some of these. I hadn't even thought about this until just now. That's going to be interesting. So something I hadn't thought of until this moment, by making the top not be removable, is painting the inside of this is going to be a bitch. Yeah, I have a cork bottom ruler, but it's 24 inches. I'm wondering, man, I keep pushing this. Oh, I don't like the way I did that. So, well, actually, you know what? No, it's not. No, it's not. Because this one whole side is going to open up. Not to be that there. This side is going to open up. And to trim a little bit off of there. So with that open, I'll be able to get down inside there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I don't really want to mess with these. I might do more detailed ones later. And I do have a kind of a traveling wagon design that's partially built in one of my tubs in the back here. But I am I'm going to do some decorative stuff on the top there that... No, this will work. This will work. I forgot that the back door is opening so that I'll be able to get in there. I might have to trim the side a little bit. All right, so... I have a pin vise here somewhere. You know what? I can use this, I think. This is going to be the tricky part, though, is figuring out where this... I'm kind of eyeballing this. All right. So we know it's that. Yeah, don't let me do anything stupid like punching all into my finger. Don't necessarily do as I do, folks. Oops, that went right inside. And just kind of eyeballing it. And then here we go. And what I'll do is I'll have some kind of a pull ring or handle or something on there so it can actually be gripped and pulled. And there we go. I don't like how that is on the bottom. So when we actually attach that here in a moment, yeah, see that ripped right through the cardboard. See, this is where I start to doubt, start to second guess some things. All right. Before I second guess myself right out of this design, I'm going to what I'm doing right now is putting a bead of hot glue along the bottom there where that tore. And that's just going to help to strengthen that. We'll set that aside. We'll get to that part in a little bit. We are going to start looking at doing our prison bars. And it's really going to be just as simple as just shot a little bit up in there. And then, I don't know if you guys saw that. I mean, well, we got plenty more to do here. Oh, you son of a bitch. Maybe we'll have to do that a little different because, yeah, we're going to do something different with that. Ow. Alright. We're just going to put these in and cap them. I'm not going to mess with gluing each one in individually because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with glue chunks all over the place on my bars. And I don't want that. So I clip that. Clip that. And it's really this simple. As long as none of the corrugation's ripped, then, whoops, that's what happens when you forget to hold on to it. As long as none of the corrugation is ripped, then all of these are going to go in at the same spacing. Sorry, this is not the most riveting. Plus 2 ranged. One nice thing about, we were talking earlier about how some of these pieces tend to be delicate. And that could absolutely be the case, except by adding all of these wooden skewers, we're adding additional weight to the build, and that's going to add to the overall stability of the piece. I bought these skewers probably, oh man, that one had a sliver in it. Just about ripped my, let's try another one. I bought these skewers probably about 2 or 3 years ago. So one of the things you'll see on the Guild Artisan streams is that I like to do things on the cheap. Yeah, adding mad structure. Yeah, where these were definitely flimsy before, they are solid AF. Yeah, the funny thing is I've only ever used these to barbecue once or twice. But I've made You've used these in a lot of things for various crafts. Come on, don't be a little... There we go. Look at that. Man. For a design that I just kind of hacked together, this is coming together nicely. And it's almost big enough to be able to put a dire tiger. The tiger, once I painted it, lost its stripes. It almost looks like a wolf. Rawr. Oh, winter is coming. Oh. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, yeah, look at that. And then, yeah, that's what I'll do. Just thinking out loud. I think I know what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to wait because this is going to kind of, I'm going to put some wet glue that's going to take longer to dry. So let's go ahead and get these other bars in place. One thing, it's not a big deal. Well, maybe it won't. Yeah. I think the bars are going to line up perfectly. Actually, that's not bad though. It's kind of a staggered look. It's got a weird chunk out of it. Notice I'm not throwing those away. I'm just putting them to the side. Sorry, lost my chat again. Just about burned my hand. It's getting warm out here. My new heater is working great. Hopefully you guys can hear all right. I've got my microphone right here, but I know I keep moving away from it. But nobody's complained thus far. If anything, people complain about my voice. I'm kidding. People enjoy my voice. People often want me to read them to sleep. Ow. That was my knuckle. All right. Well, if I could sing, I'd sing something for you, but I can't, so I won't. There's a reason why all the bards I play are orators, storytellers. Although, funny enough, the character that I'm playing in this upcoming game is Captain Virgil Stark Dervish. He is a fighter. I think he's a fighter 6, rogue 6, swashbuckler. And he once got cursed from a potion that was forced down his throat by our Kender in our party. Don't even start with Kender hate. Anyway, so for an entire session, he was afraid of heights, and he had to sing everything that he said. So that was fun for everybody. Why don't we go to that tavern over there? Let's see if there's drink to be had. Oh no, orcs on the western frontier. I don't know why I just did that. So you get me on these streams, you're going to get punch drunk Jake. That's what's going to happen. Maybe I need to drink while I'm doing this. And we'll get actual drunk Jake. I don't know. I'll have to check the new Twitch guidelines. I don't know if that's allowed. Ow. Bamboo sliver. Almost done. Yeah, see, I started singing, and everybody stopped listening or stopped talking. I either lulled you all to sleep, made everybody leave, or the Twitch stream died. Yeah, Brandis has a better singing voice than I do. Ow. Son of a... That one's back shattered. I don't think that's a word. It's like the bamboo skewer version of a backdraft. You see what's happening to my workspace here. It's not uncommon for me to just have a littered mess in the middle of a project. We'll get, oh, I'm going to fall just short because I had to cut that, trim that one piece. That's all right. I'll grab one of these, the back side of one of these that were splintered. That should be good. I'd like to hear that, LA. I know you've also got a nice deep voice that's pleasant to listen to. So if you can sing, that must be enjoyable to hear. All right. So, whoa. Let me move this before I spill skewers everywhere. Okay. So I'm going to deal with these pieces up top here in a moment. I actually wishing I trimmed these a little closer. Your wish is my command. I have to shoot myself in the eye. Go put your eye out. Hey, Dan. Dan from Fantasy Horizons in the house. Yep, Maponomicon is LA. LA just made a triumphant return after a bit of a hiatus. So good to see you back in the interwebs again, man. I missed you. Now, Dan, we need to get you in on do some co-crafting or something while you do some artwork and I'll do some crafting. And Dan and I have talked about some potential collaboration projects here on Twitch. Check out dandingman.com. Dan, I don't think it'll let you put any links in the chat, but if you are not familiar with Dan and his artwork, definitely want to check that out. The dude has some stellar artwork. I'm lucky enough to have a few of his pieces in the house. One of my favorite pieces, of course, right here, Florian Abraxas, my Minotaur Bard. This is a painting by Mr. Dan Dingman of Fantasy Horizons. That's right, Dan. I'm never going to stop promoting your stuff. Okay, so I think we get... Oh, just got to spot checking some of these bars. I think... Yeah, well... I'm going to hold off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a top and bottom piece on here with a different kind of cardboard. But I'm going to use a... So you got to switch the cam again. That's weird that you can't change your handle, Tomiko. Because I've changed mine like 3 times. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your sweatshirt. Alright. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we got our barbarian. Fits in there nicely. And, oh, the dwarf made a run for it. There he is. Got him. Oh, there he is. Get that dwarf in there, too. So, let's take a look here. That strengthening piece in there. I really don't like these edges. I'm going to do something. What I'm doing is trying to fill in the edges here on the corrugation so that see, it's not working. And I have to take a couple passes at it. So I'll get you in a little closer there. As what I'm attempting to do really, you know what, I think I blacked up my hole too. I'm trying to kind of fill this in so it's when I go to paint it, it's all solid, but without it taking up too much, expanding outward, because, it's got to fit inside that doorway area. So, we'll see. I know what I could do. Might make for a tight fit, but I might do that anyway. And what, Jake? What are you going to do? Sometimes I forget to finish my thoughts. My family's always accusing me of that. I start to say something, and then I just kind of trail off. Alright, I think what I'm going to do here, so I don't get lost. This is the side I strengthened. Yep, that's hot. Alright, let's go back up. Okay. Tamiko changed her name in the middle of the stream. Let's see. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, because these are going to look really ugly when we go to paint it. Because just like all the good textures and details pop out, so do the bad ones. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Behind me, I've got some cardstock here. And yes, I'm using a calipers because I want to get pretty close with this. This stuff is 3.5 mil. Let's see what it is in. Let's go with millimeters. I think if we go with 4 mil, all right, 4 mil will be good. What are we doing on time? Maybe a little less than an hour. Maybe a half hour. I don't know. We'll see. So here's what I'm going to do. I said 4 mil. And we're looking at 2, 4, 6, 8. One side should be enough. Get my head in the way. 1, 3, 4. That should be enough. That kind of went warbly, but all right, let's see what happens. That was a micrometer. It measures inside and outside. It measures thickness, inside and outside diameters. It's still turning out to be too thick. One moment. All right. Sorry, my son was telling me good night. So actually, I don't think they're terribly expensive. You could look it up. This is a Mitutoyo, Mitutoyo, and I can probably even give you model number 500-196. Let's see, it's 2018. 12 years ago, I worked in a factory that closed down. And this was one of the tools that I used because I ran a press with very thin material running through it. And that's what that's from. So I think I looked online recently because I was thinking maybe I should sell it on eBay. And I think you can get them for under $100. Hey, Drake's in the house. Hey, Drake. Doing a little impromptu crafting stream. I'm actually thinking about making Tuesday nights be a regular stream night. Still haven't settled on that. I also still haven't settled on what I'm doing at this exact moment with this piece. I feel like it's just too... I made it too thick. And I don't like the way it's looking. Oops, not under the construct. Oh. What's a dice tower dish? You're going to have to be more specific. Oh, wait, I see. You're saying make my dice tower. Bitch, I got ya. Oh, man. Drake, please come into these streams so that more often so that everybody can see your autocorrect and voice-to-text foibles. I'm becoming fluent in Drake text speak. For those of you that don't know, though I think everybody here does know, but if you're watching this later, Drake and I are part of the Something RPG-ish podcast, which there is a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Something RPG-ish. And very soon we are going to be doing our podcast live on Twitch. All right, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to just cut it just a hair thinner. Go to this edge here. We'll see. See, I measured that at 4 mil. And now I'm going to eyeball it. Do a quick zip, zap, zap. Yeah, see, I like that better. Not perfect. Yeah, see, this one, I just eyeballed it and it's already better. So this gets a little tricky. What I'm going to do... try to make these corners a little harder. This is just a simple cladding, edging with cardstock because it's it's thin but durable. A bug cage. No, technically this is a bug cage, though I suspect you meant a big cage. Alright, so over here in my adhesives drawer, I'm going to go with my favorite white glue, which is Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. It's got a quicker, well, it's tacky for one, so it's not as slippery as the Elmer's PVA white glue. So when doing stuff like this, it's a little stickier. And obviously, I don't need a lot. That's probably too much. I'm going to go ahead. Go all around this dish, as Drake would say. It's no bug deal. The downside to working with this glue is it's a lot messier than the hot glue. That's why my cutting board's all messy. No, this isn't school glue. This is tacky glue. School glue would take forever to dry. Tacky glue will actually set up fairly quickly. And another PSA. You might think you're saving some money by going to the dollar store and buying some glue there. Spend the extra couple bucks and get some Elmer's PVA. The glues that I've bought at the dollar store for cheap, or even at the crafting stores, I got some cheap Chinese or Japanese glue that it just it doesn't mix well with the water. It didn't set up well. I made some air dry clay a couple years ago that the Elmer's glue version went wonderful. The other did not. So yeah, do yourself a favor and get the good glue. All right, so now while this does set up quicker, I'm probably not going to be able to do anything with this door tonight because I'm going to have to re-puncture that hole. That's fine, because I want to do a little more details on this door. Don't cheap out on your glue for sure. I've got some that's chunky. Chunky? Good Lord. You know, Drake, I should get you on one of these Guild Artisans sometime. We'll do a basic craft like this. I'll get you everything you need ahead of time, and you and I'll do a co-stream together. And I'll do the tutorial. You follow along. And, yeah, I think that could be fun. If you're up for it, brother. So, while that's drying, I have some of this cardboard, which is like some inserts that go into, I don't know, like when you buy t-shirts or... yeah, I'm not worried, Drake. But I've literally got a couple thousand of these. I've built some stuff almost entirely out of this. I actually built, I'm going to show this off because I don't think I've shown it on here. Oh. I did this last year. This is built out of, it's got a foam core to it, but this whole base, while it's got foam core, all of the cladding, there's granny grid, and then all of the cladding is this cardboard right here. And same thing here, all of the cladding on this is done, all of the detailing around here is done with the same cardboard. It has its pros and its cons, but all these panels were done with that. Well, I just stood up to Miko, so I think it's obvious I'm wearing pants. I think so, yeah. Whew, I guess I should have checked before I stood up. Anyway, part of that was to show off my ship and also to show you what you can do with this kind of stuff here. So, move that out of the way to dry. I'm going to do a simple I'm just aligning that up. And then do the same thing here. I think Drake's whistling at my booty. It's alright. I got a lot of booty to go around. Oops. And top. And then let's move that over here. Pencil behind the ear. Oh yeah, I drew those kind of rough edges. I'm going to make straight edge cuts. So I don't really mind if they end up a little smaller than the areas they're meant to cover. That was a near miss. I'm cutting my finger. While dragging the blade across, I decided to glance over at the chat. Don't do that. Okay. Move this off to the side here. Right there. This is the bottom, and this is the bottom. So the plan is to quite simply glue that piece on. I'm going to trim just a hair off here. Now, one thing I'm going to do as an added precaution is make sure we're covering up the bars. See, I did. I told you guys I was going to trail off. And then I like to spread the glue to get 100% coverage here. To the edges in particular, because we don't want it peeling. So that's going to help kind of mask some of that corrugation and give us the kind of a flat bottom. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is put this under some books. So let me check the top here. Check that. Okay. So I think we're going to hit the limit of what we can do on this stream. So if you're not already following me on Twitter, head over to @MTD_Jake. That's where I like to post a lot of pictures, or on the Absolute Tabletop official group. I share some there. DM Scotty, Jeremy Pillopow, the DMG and Wylock's Tabletop Crafters Guild community, as well as the Mini Terrain Domain Facebook page, facebook.com/Mini Terrain Domain. All over the place. What I'll do is, as I finish this up and make another one this week, I will share those final pictures. But with this top and bottom piece, I need those to set, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do much more tonight. Because the next piece I need to do is the back door, which has a piece drying, and I need to do the assembly for the wheels, which needs to sit on the bottom piece Actually, no wonder I had to trim that. I wrote bottom and top on them, and then I put the top on the bottom and the bottom on the top. It's all right. That happens. So, I'm thinking that normally I was thinking I would do another stream on Thursday, which is probably going to be one of the regular nights that I do the streams. But I have a work retirement party. You know what? I might do... Well, no. I'll do a later stream, but that's Critical Role. And I don't want to be streaming at the same time Critical Role is on. So, look for a stream Sunday night. Sunday night's probably going to be one of the regular nights that we do the stream. Yeah, I need to get some weight on that. So put that there. I'm going to move that. Make sure it's centered up on there. Some Tomb of Annihilation and a player's handbook. All right. So, let me take a last gander here. All right, well, yeah, I need to have something here. Wet rag's probably a good idea for the glue fingers. So, hey, for a last minute, unplanned for stream, thanks for everybody that popped in. Thank you to Jason, Ellie, Drake, Marquise, Tamiko, of course, Dan, and anybody else that may have been in here that I didn't know you were here. Thanks for stopping by while I do some crafting and kind of teaching. This is what you can expect from these streams. So be sure to follow twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain and turn on notifications, because you never know. Once I set my schedule up, I'm going to stick to that. But I'm also going to do additional streams whenever I get a wild hair. So I'm Jake. This is Mini Terrain Domain, MTD Live, Guild Artisan. Imagine, build, play, MTD.